falling all my life and people wonder why I'm down to earth.
This is Adversity University.
If you waiting for somebody to feel sorry for you, then you failed already.
Success is best to those who've been grounded first.
Cause ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you.
Now what are you willing to do?
The only thing that separates a winner from a loser is perseverance.
And this is Adversity University. So we working. How do I look? Do I look like something? What's going on?
The question I want to ask you is, first question, what makes you so passionate about helping kids? Where does that come from?
So, passionate about helping kids. Where does that come from? It comes from a few different arenas. For one, when I look at these kids, I simply see my young self, right? Which is cliche because a lot of people say the same things, right? But when you think about it, I wasn't the model young kid, young student. I wasn't that person. I was that one who, I got into everything. I was always intelligent, but I was misguided, so to speak. And I don't necessarily just mean, outside of my household, but just my environment and my surroundings. So everything that I saw, you emulate what you see, right? The things that surround you, right? What other people have, you tend to want. What other people do, you tend to want to do. And I saw young people coming up wanting all the wrong, right? Wanting to be all the wrong, and selling themselves short. Not really tapping into their full potential. Not because they don't want to, because they don't know how to. So I like to, grab a hold of that young man, that young girl, let them know who they really are, right? Who they can be, as long as they work hard for it. They don't have to settle for the circumstances that they're sitting in, because oftentimes those circumstances that they sit in will, cause them to have more, pain, more adversity. I mean, we're gonna always deal with adversity, but this seems to be like a little bit more. The struggles of life, and then when they become an adult, they kind of fall back to that default way of thinking and living. So I try to get those young people to understand what life is really about and to prepare them for life so that when no obstacles do present themselves, they know how to deal with it. They don't gotta run away from it. They can face it and understand that this ain't the end all be all. Life's gonna get better. This is just a learning lesson for me. This adversity presented itself, so what can I learn from it? And then once they figure that part out, everything else is, it's gravy. So it's just about becoming self-aware and self-motivated. So I think that, the reason that I'm so passionate about helping and working with young people is I was one of them, number one. And I was misguided. I wanted all the wrong shit. I wanted to do the wrong things because I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. I thought it was the norm. But then when I was able to grow, I was able to see better. I understood that I could be better. So I want to get that to them early versus later, because I like to be more proactive versus reactive, because by the time we're reactive, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the reason and the purpose of why I'm so passionate about young people. And then I got kids. I got two little girls that's growing up in a world that I feel that I have a chance to fix that, right? I have a chance to smooth out some of those rough edges that they gonna be growing up in. So, assisting them, my kids with being emotionally intelligent, assisting the world with being a little bit emotionally intelligent, it leads for better outcomes as a whole.
How do you balance dedicating so much of your life and being so passionate for kids and helping all of these people with being a great husband, being a great father?
How do I balance it? I mean, it's not the easiest thing to balance, but when it's something that you live, it's kind of natural. You know what I'm saying? Because the same way I'm helping people outside of my house, I'm helping the kids inside of my house. So I can't be a hypocrite in that regard. You know what I'm saying? So I teach my kids, I talk to my kids, I teach them how to express themselves, I teach them to be themselves, I teach them to be leaders. You know what I'm saying? I teach them to just be themselves. And if don't nobody like it, you don't have to conform to what they think you should be. You are who you are. And what you want to do, what you want to experience, is yours. And you don't need no validation from nobody else. You know what I'm saying? You don't need any of that. And it's received well in my house. You know what I'm saying? For my kids, right? My 2 daughters, and also my wife. That's what keeps me going. So the balance is the constant practice of just being great. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm constantly working on myself, I'm constantly encouraging my wife to work on herself. I'm constantly encouraging my kids to work on themselves. They understand what the narrative is. We're trying to change that. So we're not focusing on those generational curses that cause us heartache and pain later on in life. We ain't focusing on that. We focusing on what can make us better. And we don't have to feel guilty about trying to be better. We don't have to feel guilty about so-called failing, because there's no such thing as a fail, right, or a loss, as long as you learn from that. And that's all I do. I don't punish my kids. They get consequences, but it's not a punishment, right? I explain things to them. You know, like Tristan the other day, we had a little incident where she thought, I forget exactly what it was, but I had to pull her aside and just explain to her, look, like, oh, okay, so I asked her to feed the dog. Feed the dog and put water in his plate. Well, that morning, that day, I kind of, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, so I was a little grouchy. So the way that I asked her, it wasn't in the most pleasant way, but she started to do it. She fed him. She gave him water, but in the midst of that, she asked me, can she give him a treat? So I like to teach them, look, there's steps that needs to happen. Do what I ask you to do, then you can do what you want to do. So when she asked, can she get a treat? I said, hey, what did I just ask you to do? She said, feed and give him water. Okay, I said, go ahead and do that. She did that, and then she left and went downstairs. I knew she had a little attitude, right? So I went down there just to look. She came down here in the man cave. I went just to look and say, I know I ain't just see what I thought I saw, did I? So she started smiling, but she knew I was serious. So then her demeanor started to shift. So when that happened, I asked her, did I just say attitude? And she came and started trying to explain that to me, right? And in the midst of explaining, she said, because her mom and her sister was here, she wanted to talk to me one-on-one. So she asked, can we talk about this somewhere else? So we went into the garage, we talked, and she was beating around the bush that the reason I left is because you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You weren't yourself. You wasn't being the most pleasant. So I just wanted to get out of there. And that's basically what she was saying, but she was tiptoeing around it. So I asked her straight up. And she was just like, well, yeah, that's why I did it. But I didn't want to say that to you because I didn't want to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to say it without being disrespectful. And I explained to her, you'll never, if I give you that floor to express yourself to me, say what you need to say. You're not going to get in trouble. And I explained to her, it's not a punishment, baby. I want you to learn from this, because I explained to her, right after you fix that food and that water, I was going to then let you do what you wanted to do as far as giving him that treat. You know what I'm saying? You can't jump over what I ask you to do just to do what you want to do. Just do what I asked you to do first, then I'll let you do whatever it is that you want to do. So, those are the type of conversations that I have, and the way that I discipline my kids, or not even discipline my kids, communicate. It's about effective communication to the kids. I want them to feel comfortable telling me anything. Daddy, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I ain't really feeling you right now, so I just want to get away from you. That's okay with me. I ain't tripping because I know I often wake up on the wrong side of the bed. It's the truth. I don't want her truth to be shitted on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to invalidate her feelings or her emotions. I want to affirm them and let her know, yeah, how you feeling is correct. Daddy need to work on himself, but you also need to listen to what daddy and mama tell you to do.
Most people, when they become good parents, or they're coaching, or they're counseling, they have a blueprint growing up.
Mm-hmm.
who was your blueprint? Did you have one? How did you come to be this person that you are today as a parent, as a coach, as a mentor?
Man, just honestly, no, I didn't have a blueprint. I've, saw things that I liked from different families. I always explain to people, I moved around. My childhood wasn't stable, as most people. I lived in 22 houses by the time I graduated high school. I went to 10 different schools, multiple different neighborhoods. I slept on floors, couches, whatever, right? And in the midst of all of that, I saw things that I admired from different people, right? And I saw things that I didn't have. That I say, okay, when I have a family, this is how I'm going to be, or this is how I'm not going to be. I'm going to make sure that my kids feel heard. I'm going to make sure that my kids feel seen. I'm going to make sure my kids are, encouraged, motivated constantly. But most importantly, I'm going to let my kids express themselves how they want to. Emotionally, negativity can stick with you for the rest of your life. And it always presents itself when you get grown. But you being a kid, you're not going to know what's going to present itself when you get grown, because guess what? You're not grown yet. But who is grown? Me. And I know a lot of the things that I dealt with growing up. I know a lot of struggles that I had. I know a lot of the wants that, that I wanted. A lot of the needs. A lot of those things wasn't fulfilled. So it's my duty to fulfill all of those things that I felt like I was missing. You know what I'm saying? It's my duty to allow my kid to be a happy kid. And not just this angry kid. I had a lot of anger growing up, a lot. And, obviously now I'm a therapist and I understand just the different feelings and emotions, and I can articulate that. But I couldn't articulate that when I was younger. So all those feelings and emotions, the sadness, the depression, all that, it presented itself as anger. Only. That's it. I want to fight. First quarter. Anything happen, I felt disrespected, I felt any kind of negative way, I'm fighting. But I also understand that there's a different way to solve issues and resolve issues than just anger. You know what I'm saying? Effective communication rules a nation. And that's real, right? So when you can talk to somebody, you can express yourself, and you can tell them exactly what you're thinking, exactly how you're feeling, then oftentimes you get the outcome that you want. It's not gonna fall into, these negative consequences and, suspension, expulsion, jail, getting fired. It's not gonna result into that. It's gonna result into people understanding you. You know what I'm saying? So you stand on who you are, you stand on what you believe in, and you articulate that, and people gonna learn to respect you. So, self-awareness and self-respect is what you can stand on, and you're gonna demand that from people as long as you can effectively communicate. So this is what's important to me. You know what I'm saying? Because one day I'm not going to be here no more. And I want them to be able to express themselves, to be able to manage their emotions, to be able to know exactly who they are, right? I have daily affirmations that I make them say. I don't make them say anything because they done remixed it. They love to say it, right? I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I can do anything I want to do. I could be anything I want to be as long as I work hard hard for it, right? So when you telling them daily to say these things, it sticks, and they actually believe it. And it's times that we just, we're around the house, talking, and we're just talking about things, and they'll bust out with their affirmation, and that encourages them. So I know that for the rest of their lives, they're going to reference that. When they feel like, life is hard, when they feel like, their growth is limited, or, they can't push forward. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because you said to yourself every day, you really believe that. And daddy really believed that. That's why he put it in front of you to be able to say every day. So your mama and your daddy know who you are. It's important that you know who you are. So, so as far as the example, I didn't have those examples, but I knew what was important, and I know how to raise a great person.
You talked about not having a blueprint or an example, at least a direct blueprint or a direct example, but you was able, because you lived in so many different places, you was able to kind of pick these different things out that were positive about the different places you lived in.
Right.
So if you had to say what you learned more from, was it more, no pun intended, the adversity? Or was it more from these positive things that you saw as you moved around to all these different places and situations?
I would say I learned more from the adversity, because as bad as it feels, you understand, at least me, I always understood that this is just a temporary stop. Like, this is a pit stop for me. I know as long as I keep living, things go change. You know what I'm saying? Because I was always determined. I always had some type of goal that I wanted to accomplish, whether it was, you know, be a star football player, whether it was to be the best rapper, you know what I'm saying, whether it was to be the best professional. I always had some type of goal that I was working towards. So in the midst of that adversity, I was always able to see further than what my circumstances presented. You know what I'm saying? I always felt, okay, I'm going to be big, period. I don't know how. I think I know how, but I'm going to just take this ride. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go for a ride. I'm going to take this journey, and I'm going to figure out, you know what I'm saying, how that's going to happen, what that look like. Now, it's, you know, a lot of things presented itself, a lot of adversity presented itself that had me second guessing a lot. But, you know, one thing I always understood is, you know, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I was able to see at an early age that once I shift my environment, that I could be able to live a little bit different, right? It didn't have to be negative. So once I was able to see that, you know what I'm saying? Once I was able to see different, I understood that I could be different. So, you know, the adversity in all of that, it just gave me motivation to keep going. Always, because, you know, family members, friends are in jail for life. Some got multiple life sentences. Most are dead. And when you're surrounded around that and you had the opportunity to see better, you don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, I not only learned from my mistakes, I started learning from everybody else's mistakes. Now, did I fall short? Yep, a lot. But fortunately, God was always on my side, and the worst never happened in those situations that I put myself in that were negative. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to understand, okay, I got another opportunity. Let me shift that way of thinking and keep pushing. It's like it was trial and error for me, to be honest with you. It's just that the negative situations I put myself into, the outcome wasn't the worst that it could be. You know, which gave me another day to be better. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the whole, you know, when you talk about adversity university, it's about growing through that adversity. It's going to always be there. It's going to always present itself. The key is learning from it. It's hard sometimes when you're in the middle of it because you don't want to learn from this. You're dealing with some stuff that's really affecting you. It's a very traumatic experience, but the other side is so much more better. So much more better. And a lot of times we be scared to move forward, you know, because of fear. But like I tell everybody else, you know, the other side of fear is success. On the opposite side of fear is success. You just got to understand, like, that fear is just it's a real wall that you can break through. But you have to believe that you can break through that wall, that you're strong enough, you're mentally, you know, tough enough, and you can persevere long enough to get to that other side to success. And success look different for everybody. Everybody want to, you know, you make $1 million out of that success, but everybody want to put a monetary value to success, but that ain't worth a. Because we can all play the lottery tomorrow and become a millionaire. That same pain and trauma that we experience is going to be there. How do you deal with it? How do you overcome it? You know what I'm saying? How do you manage yourself so that you don't have to lay in the of that struggle? You know what I'm saying? How do you get to where you want to be? You know, it's about taking those lessons, learning from them, setting goals, putting forth action steps, and live day by day. And eventually you'll get to where you want to be. But everybody want to get to the end before they start. And they say, like, fuck the process. You can't forget the process. The process is what's going to make you. You know what I'm saying? The process is what's gonna make you feel like you can be, that you cannot be broken. You know, because it's the ups and the downs. It's the ups and the downs that really show you who you made of. It really builds character. So you just gotta sit in it, ride that roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down, have fun with it. Just know, okay, this is temporary. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. So once you win, once you take the adversity and you turn that into achievement, you won. Ain't no monetary value to that. It's about growth. You know what I'm saying? So I learned the most lessons through adversity.
Next question is a two-part question.
Okay.
So when you were growing up, you mentioned that you went through a lot of adversity. You made some bad decisions. What was that one moment in life that made you take a shift or a pivot into the positive? That's one question. And then as you became an adult, was it a particular event that made you say, I'm going to take my journey and turn this into helping others? And was it a moment as an adult that made you make that shift? So the moment as you was a child that made you shift to the more positive, and the moment at your adult life that you knew that this was going to be your mission?
Nobody never asked me that before, bro, and I'm damn near about to tear up because I just came to a realization. Damn. Bro, I just came to a realization. The realization was, as a child, what was that that moment that made me shift? The moment was when I was 11 years old and I got locked up, right? I understood that, at that point, this ain't where I want to be, but it's a situation that I'm stuck in, right? I could be better, but I'm broken. You know what I'm saying? I'm hurt. I got a lot of anger. I don't give a about nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it took, at 11, then, 12, I got, kicked out of middle school for fighting with a teacher. At 13, I was on trial for aggravated assault. And then 13 going to 14, I had an opportunity to make a shift and leave, Miami to go to Gainesville to experience something different. And although the circumstances were a bit negative, it was still a positive for me, right? So, I grew through that, right? Went to college, I defaulted back to that negative way of thinking. I got in trouble a few times. I got locked up a few times in college, right? Bro, I had to even take student loans out to pay for lawyer fees for the shit that I got myself into in college. I got kicked off the team multiple times. I was at risk of losing my scholarship. And then at that point, I knew everything was going to crumble if I didn't fix it. Right? So I decided to fix it. And when I decided to fix it, things started shifting and going up from there. To get back on the football team, to becoming a quote-unquote star, graduating college. And then I became an adult. And then I moved, to Atlanta, built my business. I did all this stuff that was for the betterment of our people and myself, right? Bought my first house, started my first business, and I was excelling. But then there was an opportunity that presented itself, and desperation actually presented itself as far as my business was concerned, and I decided to take a shortcut, right? And in deciding to take that shortcut, I got myself in a situation that I couldn't get myself out of. And I was indicted, for doing something that I thought was positive, but I took a shortcut. You understand what I'm saying? So I almost lost everything, my family included, because I took a shortcut. Everything that I was doing was great, but I decided to take a shortcut. And I ended up getting locked up again. And at that moment is when Adversity University was born, bro. That moment is when I decided to live, bro. That's when I wrote Positive Passport to Life, Journey to a Positive Mindset. And then Adversity University, from that point, it lived, dog. Damn, this give me. And I understood, bro, that it was really meant to be. You know what I'm saying? I really. Bro, I really understood that I had a purpose in life, bro, and I was doing something great. I had an opportunity to save people, bro, help people, and I always had a way of reaching people, dog, in a way that nobody else could, and that helped them just get through, you know what I'm saying, through the next stages and the next levels of their life. And I almost pissed it off by making one decision, dog, that almost threw my whole life away. You know what I'm saying? So I had to bounce back from that. You know, and that was the moment that took me in a whole different direction. You know, after that, you know, it was hard to bounce back from. I was struggling with just outside sources, what people may think, how people view me. You know what I'm saying? I had lost everything for the most part, and it was just hard to bounce back, bro. But it was just like, I can't give up because I know I have a purpose. Everything that I've been through, I've always overcome that. You know, I've overcome things that people never thought I would. I thought I wouldn't. And I was able to get to the end every time because I always focus on the solution, bro, not the problem. Because the problem will always be there. But the solution you got to figure out. So I figure if I spend more time thinking about the solution, I'm going to get there. You know what I'm saying? So, the problems. I'm only solution focused. Because the problem, it ain't going to go nowhere. Problems are not going to go anywhere. But the solutions are the things that we need to seek out and continue to seek out. And that's how we really get to the greatness that's within us, bro. So, yeah. But that was a powerful question, man.
Two more questions. What does success look like for this thing? This thing that you started, this mission that you have in life, Adverse University, what is that moment where you can sit back and say, this is what I've been waiting for?
To be honest with you, bro, I don't plan to ever sit back and say this is what I've been looking for. Because I want this to be around when I'm not. So it's not a moment that'll define success for Adversity University. It's the continuation of Adversity University. It's for people to, my whole motto is to partner with the community to empower the community, dog, because we only know how we can reach our people. It's not the books. It's not all these clinical theories. It's not what people think. You understand? I'm of the people, bro. I come from that. You understand? I've lived the struggle 10 times over, right? And I was able to dig myself out of that. You know, I realized that I'm that rose that grew from concrete, bro. So I think that when you speak with, in the context of, concrete and a rose, I think that there needs to be a flower bed in the streets, in the sidewalks, bro. There needs to be a lot of roses growing through that concrete, and there needs to be a lot of eyeballs seeing these roses grow through the concrete, because oftentimes we feel like we can't move no more. We feel like we're stuck in the dirt. We feel like there's nothing else left for us to do but to take those shortcuts and the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? And in making those type decisions, we're stunting our growth. We're not even almost tapping into our potential. You know, it's so many people that wish they just had somebody to solely just talk to, man, and to witness and touch that been through the type that they've been through. You know, it's a lot of people that feel like that. I felt like that. You know, but I also felt like it ain't on everybody else, it's on me. I know that I have the potential to be great, right? I have the potential to grow beyond anything that I ever thought I could or would be able to do. So I'm the person, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm that person. And I know there's a lot of people that have been through struggle, a lot of people that have been through adversity who came out of it. You know what I'm saying? I clap for them, but they're not me, bro. They don't struggle with the things that I struggle with internally. You know, they don't struggle with the things that I struggle with, you know, surrounding me, my environment. And I constantly find ways to push forward because there's always light at the end of the tunnel, bro. I live life through darkness, bro. So it's time for that light to shine. So when you talk about success of Adversity University, it's to nationwide, man, international, just helping people get out of that funk, man, in a way that they can receive it, in a way that they can digest it, in a way that they can apply it to their lives. You know, teach them just the small things, setting short-term goals to eventually get to that big goal. You know, and making that a practice, like making that the norm in the households. You know, giving families and parents the language to be able to speak to their kids in a way that they normally wouldn't be able to. You know, it's about the practice, the daily practice of this stuff. It's not nothing that you could just go through for a week, 10 weeks, and then you're fixed, bro. This is a lifetime commitment. So, you know, the success of this would be that. The commitment and the consistency of families really buying into, you know, taking their personal growth serious, right? Taking their mental health serious, taking their emotional stability serious. Emotional intelligence is the answer to a lot, man. So to see my people taking that serious, that's success for me.
Last question, because you got into a lot of deep stuff, man, which explains a lot, you know, your passion behind Adversity University. What does legacy mean to Cody? And what will people say about you in another 50 years?
And I'm 100% genuine, bro. I'm 100% for the people. I might not come off the best all the time. You know what I'm saying? I might not deliver words the best all the time. But I'm pure, right? I care about my people. I care about the betterment of my people. I see how many people fall short just simply because they don't know how. Simply because they don't have the information or know how to get it, right? So you talk about legacy. It's funny that you asked me that, dog, because that's what I talk about. And when I'm working with people, because that's what they need to focus on, their legacy. It ain't about what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, everything is about what you do right now because ultimately, you know, the outcomes will be a direct result of that, right? So, I teach them to just figure out what you want your legacy to be. You know, what is the end goal for you, and let's work on getting there. You know what I'm saying? So as far as me, but I want to be the best husband, the best father in the world, right? And in doing that, I know I could be the best motivator in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm genuine about everything that I do. When I see these young people, I'm genuine about how they feel. Did they eat? You know what I'm saying? How are you emotionally? How is your relationships with your family? Are you being respectful? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to do in school? Me, I'm not at school is the end all be all. Knowledge is power, and shared knowledge is more powerful. So I'd rather give them information that they can benefit from in the long run than to continuously scold them about what they're doing or what they're not doing in school. So my legacy is to simply pour in. I want to be known for that person that simply by my words, I was able to give you life. You know what I'm saying? I was able to encourage you and motivate you just to do one more thing better than you did the day before. You know what I'm saying? And this is that's it. That's all I want to be able to do. Strengthen families. That's it. Strengthen families, bro, because this is what we all need. You know? We all have families that need a little bit of push, right? I want to be the bridge to that gap. You know what I'm saying? Between the have and the have-nots. We ain't talking about funds. I'm talking about life. You know, so Yeah, that's it, bro. That's what I want my legacy to be.
When perseverance will meet adversity, then success is right around the corner. You just gotta be willing to keep going. This is Adversity University. What's your plan? You gonna keep your feet planted, or you gonna keep your feet moving? And success is the next step. Now what you gonna do? Adversity University.